All right, welcome in everybody. Hopefully everything's working. Also, welcome in Ritmiko. You are first. Also, thank you, Kivo. I don't know if how entertaining I'm gonna be, as I'm exhausted. I feel like I haven't had a day off in like forever because moving has kind of taken the energy out of me. But I'll survive. Welcome in, welcome in. So first things first. So quick, yeah. Some of the redemptions are not going to work tonight because I had Zika add in a new thing for me where I can take my jacket off. And unfortunately, and this is not his fault, this is just VTube Studio. It fucks with all the redemptions, so they stopped working. So I'm gonna have to I have to redo them, and I have not had time to do that yet, so I'll slowly get them re-enabled throughout the week. The water one, the bonk one, and like any sound alert should still work, but I've pretty much disabled the rest of them. I'm loving Phoenix right too. My only issue is, and this is a me thing, this is a me problem, is as I feel like if I were just laying down and playing them, I could get through a whole case in just like one sitting, probably in half the time. But because I'm streaming it, you know, there's no voice acting, and I could probably just let people read it on screen, but one, I think that's not very entertaining, and two, I'm a very fast skim reader, so like I don't think people would read it as fast as I'm reading it, if that makes sense. So what my plan is, because I wanted to start switching the schedule up a little bit. I'm gonna be doing Ace Attorney Tuesdays and Thursdays, because it's like those are typically shorter streams anyway, because they're not on the weekends, because I'm working during the week. And then I was gonna start Breath of the Wild. I was like debating it, but I'm like, you know what? I bought it. I haven't finished it yet. I've played it several times and not finished. I will finish it. And I bought Tears of the Kingdom long ago when that came out, and I have not played that. And it's like I'm wasting money if I don't play it. So and I'm like, you know what? I'll start a little bit earlier on the weekends to give me more of a window to work with. Test that out a little bit, see how that works. So I'm going to be going live around 5 Eastern time on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And then pretty much same time for Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm gonna see how that works out. I think it's gonna be nice. I love that for you, Rimiko. Yeah, because you're like European time, I think. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I'll probably still end around the same time. I don't know. I guess it depends on my mood. I have so many friends that like just casually stream for like 8 to 10 hours. I can't do that. I feel like I can do 3 or 4 now. 6 I feel like is my limit, unless I'm doing something special that day. But yeah, there's a lot I want to do too. So like I want to get Zelda out of the way, because those games are going to take a while. They're going to take a while. And that's going to be with like me trying not to dilly-dally with like side quests and stuff. I want to be like get straight to the point. Like I'm going to log in and be like, where's Ganon? No, but it'll be fun. Bayonetta 2. I want to play the Bayonetta series at some point too. There's a lot I want to play. I feel like I get like very I don't want to say manic about it. That's not healthy, or obsessive, but like I get these ideas and I'm like, oh, I should stream this series, and then there's like so many things I want to do, and then getting around to doing them, I feel like I have a hard time staying committed. But Ace Attorney's been, I haven't really had an issue. For the most part, because it's a very, you have to like this kind of game, because it's just a story, pretty much a story that you can't fuck up on, which you guys have seen me do plenty of times. I feel like you have to, like, your brain in some ways has to be very turned on to, you have to be paying attention, and I have not been doing that with this game. as of recently because this story is kind of wiping the floor with me. Thank you, Claudia. I do want to scream. I got that. So I'm normally
Looking
done.
hot, don't scream.
Thank you. And 11 months, almost a year. Um, so I'm normally done at 7 my time, and I got that one last phone call at 6:59, and I don't know how much of the caller can hear me. Like we get this like little beep that comes in. It's like incoming call, blah blah blah. Like it gives it like if anyone's worked at a call center, you know what I'm talking about. And you like if someone could pull that call, you could probably just hear me go like, "Are you kidding me? Call last minute." Like I was so angry, but I did rush her off the phone. I will say we took care of it. Also, welcome in Diva and welcome in Kitten. But no, today has just been like my job's been stressful, and I don't want to keep having to trauma dump about it, but I have been actively applying at other employment places because it's like I have to make a change. If you don't make a change, like my best friend is like, well, Josh, you get miserable no matter where you work, and she's not wrong. Like, but here's the thing: I feel like I'm giving these places like a year of my life to see if I like it or not. And I feel like I'm giving them a fair shot, and it's just like I don't know. I'm just like this isn't for me. I don't know. And I think I'm also the type of person where I feel like I feel like I have to have constant change sometimes in certain aspects of my life. I don't like change with certain things, but in other parts of my life, I feel like I have to constantly be doing something new and something different. And my work life is starting to feel stagnant, I think. And I think that's like affecting my mental health. So yeah, me either, Miko. It doesn't help that it's like been insanely busy, which you could take that as a blessing, but I feel like when you're talking like I don't know, I didn't like being a cashier for that same reason because cashier the where I've done cashier work, which was a long time ago technically because I'm old. Um it was busy most of the day, and people are like, oh well, your day just goes right on by so fast, doesn't it? I'm like, no, because you're constantly thinking about the day being over because it just doesn't stop. I don't know, that's how I felt being a cashier. But nothing was worse to me than when I worked at an answering service where you are forced to look at a clock all day, which is important because we answered for different places around the country. You know, it could be 7:30 here, but it could be 4:30 in California. So that does matter. I could be like, oh, the office left at 4 o'clock, but it did not help the day go by any faster when you're like actually forced to stare at the time. That was the worst. The busier I am, the longer the day seems to drag on me too. Oh, I agree. It depends for me too. If I'm doing something that almost feels like a project, which I don't get a lot of in this job, the time does go by a little bit faster. But for the most part, no, not a fan. And I'm just like wore out because like my brain has just like interacted with so many people throughout the day where I'm just like I'm mentally. I've talked about this before. Streaming is different where like I'm talking and you guys are typing back. Sometimes you guys just lurk. I have quiet days too, which is fine. But if we were all in like a voice chat and I was streaming, I'd be done because I feel like it would feel like work. It's like very overstimulating. What are some other news? But yeah, I finally moved in. It's really just like the building down from where my other building was. But let me tell you though, this apartment is a lot nicer for the most part. My room's a little bit smaller, but the rest of the apartment's bigger, so that's nice. I'm hoping audio-wise it sounds about the same. Because I really haven't tested it. I'll have to find out when I'm done. I will watch back and see if it if I sound like I'm reverbing a lot, I don't know. I don't think it should be much different. At least the men will. I don't take them to the bedroom, Miko, but that's okay. We won't talk about that on Twitch. Although, I mean, it is cooler in this apartment. I do have a better, like, a central air. Well, not really central air, but it's like there's a better, like, vent in my room that, like, filters through the air conditioning. They have this, like, thing set up. I don't understand it, but I get cooler air in here, which is nice. Because I'm in Florida, it's very hot. And it's going to keep getting hot. Because we're already in March, and it's, like, in the 70s already. But no. I had a pretty, for the most part, smooth move. Because it was literally just taking stuff down the street. It was just, this apartment complex was, like, dragging their feet with certain things. Like, they gave me, like, less than a month's notice to do this. But then, like, the things that they needed me to do, they weren't on top of. And it was pissing me off. I'd say I got some tea from today, but it's not too much to share properly. It's okay. I don't even know what's Twitch safe anymore. What are they gonna do? Ban me? Fucking ban me. I see people get away with some wild stuff on this website. I will say that. I feel like I'm jibber jabbering a little bit too much. I do want to get the game started. It's kind of annoying because I'm not going to be able... I hate when I only have one monitor because I have my Switch set up. I'm going to have to, like, eyeball here, like, what I was like, zoomed in a little bit more. It wasn't like that, though. It was a little bit down further. And a little bit over to this side. But I can take the jacket off now, so that's nice. So this will be fun. Although... it does fuck with, like, my... because someone noticed, you guys said that, like, I look skinnier when I'm in my other outfit, and you're not wrong. It's, like, perception. This jacket kind of makes my shoulders look wider, but then my waist looks skinnier. But then when you take the jacket off, it does look different. It's all perception. But it does, like, the actual model itself is not changing. But I don't know. I figured, like, I'm going to make this a toggle to where people can, like, take it on or put it on and take it off. I'll eventually have the other pieces taken off too. So that'll be fun. But just the jacket for now. And I might just take it off for, like... I mean, I'm not covering too much of the screen anyway. But maybe on certain games where there's lots of text, like this one, where, like, I don't want to feel like I'm covering that up. That'll be nice. But yeah, hopefully this works out all right. Also, I did upload... I'm gonna start doing this just in case, because you know what? What pisses me off with Twitch is the VODs eventually get deleted. I guess because I'm using Prime, like, my VODs stay up, I think, for, like, 6 months or something, which is... I'm like, okay, that's nice, but I hate that they still eventually, like, go away. And it's a little sad because I wish I would have been a little bit more, like, proactive with, like, saving some of them. Like, the Pokemon Nuzlocke, like, the first one, I wanted to save those so I could have someone edit that one day, but it's okay. It's okay. But at least now, like, I uploaded, like, the first stream of this, the third Ace Attorney game is on there already. Unless you highlight them, which is weird. But I'm gonna hope to have, like, at least the third Ace Attorney game up on YouTube. So if people want to go back and watch the streams. People say obviously, I feel like watching it live is better because, like, you're interacting with chat. You guys are talking to each other sometimes too. Like, it's not going to be as good of an experience. But, like, at least you know what? It'll be there. It'll be somewhere. In case I do ever want to go back and reference it, I guess. Like, I'm not planning to, like, get views from it. at all. YouTube hates me. Like, I'll upload a like, I uploaded a short, I think, last night, and like, TikTok I'm doing decent on. Like, an Ace Attorney clip will get like 500 to sometimes almost 2,000 views, which is, that for me is good. Like, I'm happy with that, and I'll get like 20 likes. I'm like, you know what? I'm happy with that. Like, and I'm noticing like people are like, will sometimes even respond to them well too. Like, they'll comment and stuff. But I upload the same clip to YouTube because with Twitch you can upload them to both at the same time. YouTube will get instantly downvoted, like 20 downvotes. I'll sometimes get a nasty comment, and like nowhere near as many views. Like, it's terrible. That's why like people are like, well, I'm gonna move to YouTube now, I'm gonna stream that. It's like, have fun. It seems like a hateful place. And like, now I'm just watching like, or I'm like wondering like, should I just even bother posting there anymore? But like, I'm petty, and like, I'm at the point now where it's like, no, I want you to be annoyed by my shorts and my videos. I want you to downvote it because I want to ruin your day. I want you to be annoyed at my gay sounding male voice and be annoyed about it to where it shows up on your feed when you don't want it to. That's my mentality now with posting on YouTube. I just want to piss people off at this point. Like, I'll get like 1 like and like 20 dislikes. And that would discourage a lot of people. And me, it just makes me go full scorched earth. I don't care. Anyway. I don't know. I will say this. I feel like YouTube, because I feel like I mean, TikTok's a big site too, but TikTok is TikTok. It's like, there's probably people like swiping left when they see my stuff. They're like, oh, fucking VTuber. You know, they'll probably just, instantly swipe. And that's fine. I don't care. But YouTube, like, they feel the need to be vocal about their discontent. Because it's a much older site. I would say, is it a bigger site? I think it is. It's a different animal. My stuff gets shown to like straight normal people, and that's not my audience, and I know that. That's not my audience. Anyway, I still have some coffee left from today, and it was another night where it's like, I don't know that I feel like going out there and making tea for stream. I'm just gonna drink the rest of my coffee. And we have Godot. Godot is a coffee drinker. We're like a match made in heaven. And so it just seems fitting. But if I run out, I may have to on my break go make tea or something. I don't know. I feel like I did not get my caffeine fix for the day. But where were we in this game? So there was a jewel heist, I think. Well, no, not a jewel heist. Hi, Miss Cookie Dough. Welcome in. We're doing good. We're actually just about to start the game. To recap, it wasn't a jewel heist, but it was our first, what I thought was a non-murder trial, where someone stole this sacred urn, and we allegedly have found out who did it. It was the guy who was like pretending to be a detective. So he's in jail. But then at the same time, because we provided an alibi for our client for the thing getting stolen, his CEO from his old job got murdered at the same time. So now he's being accused of murdering his CEO, and we don't have an alibi for him. It's a mess. And that's where we're at now. That's what you missed on Glee. And we're at the CEO's office right now investigating the stolen turnabout. I was so excited. If anyone, when did I last stream? Was it last Thursday? I was like, oh, it's a non-murder trial. I'm so excited. And they do this whole switcheroo. They have bait and switched us on this case like 5 times, and I'm getting annoyed about it. And this is our best friend, Larry. I will admit, I'm a little lost. I'm not quite sure. I might actually look up a guide real quick, just because threw me off a little bit. When you don't stream for like a week, it really feels like a month. And I feel like I haven't played this game in a month. But I know we're like halfway through this case. I just have to figure out where we're at, like where we got to. Okay, we did the buzzer. We might have to go back to the basement warehouse. I don't know if we've done that. Enjoy the hater tears. They do taste good. That's what I fill my coffee with, actually. Maybe we can get some alibi kisses from Godot. I hope so. Do you think he's bisexual? He does kind of give bisexual energy. He actually... I'm getting pan energy from him. I feel like he just does not care. Which, I'm all for that. The buzzer in the CEO's office is directly connected to this room, right? That's right. Just like my heart is connected to yours, Maya. Oh, no. No. Huh? Go ahead, Maya. Press the buzzer in your heart. I promise I'll come running to your rescue like the professional guard I am. Wow, that was pretty good. Thanks, I tried. Do you think you could tell us about the buzzer now? Yes, please. Please tell us. Okay, I guess so. Prepare to be wowed. Oh, okay. So he is telling us. Oh, he already told us about it. It's okay. We need a refresher. I accidentally pressed the buzzer earlier. Yeah, I heard it. So that was you, huh? You're a security guard, aren't you? Why didn't you come to the CEO's office? Well, this is the 3rd floor of the basement. The CEO's office is on the 1st floor. Thought it would be a good idea to adopt a wait-and-see approach. Plus, there's a police detective here, right? I just didn't think it was necessary. It's as if he's trying to win an award for the laziest person on the planet. Let's get back to talking about the night of the murder, okay? Is it true that the buzzer didn't go off that night? There must be a record, right? You must have had a look at it, right? Of course I did. And I couldn't possibly have made a mistake either. Do you think you could take just one more look for me, pretty please? Okay, I just can't say no to you, Maya. What do you think, Nick? He's probably right. I don't think even Larry could make a mistake like that. Oh. What is it? What's wrong? I made a mistake. But how? It can't be. It's impossible. Okay, enough already. What about the records? That night, it went off just once in the morning at around 1 a.m. So the CEO did press it. 1 a.m. That's when the murder happened. Really? Are you serious? That's terrible. I can't be. Okay. So this is where we got to. I do think we have to go to the warehouse now, though, which we apparently can't get to from here. We have to go to the office first. I will say, they should just let us teleport anywhere. In my opinion. Okay, but we did talk to her. Oh, she still has her stuff locked. So let's save. I forgot about her. We have to unlock the buzzer and take her. I can't remember what she's hiding. And she knows better to do this to us. Ms. Andrews, do you know anything about the sacred urn? Do I know anything? I'm in charge of the entire treasure exhibit. The urn that was submitted before the court today. It's obviously not the same urn as before. Oh, I remember. Okay, I'm gonna snooze this first ad. We have to have proof that the... Okay, wait a minute. That's, true. Maybe it isn't the same. It could be a fake. A fake. You're the one who said it wasn't the same, so that's the most obvious explanation. Do you have any evidence that the urn that was submitted at the trial was genuine? I feel like I presented that, and She said no already. And I'm pretty sure, I think I presented a lot of this stuff. I presented this. I feel like I need help. The guide is saying to go to our office. Have we gone to our office recently? Yeah. I want to figure, like, I'd like to figure it out on my own, but I do remember I, like, showed her everything. Detention center. Oh, perfect. Here we go. Perfect. And this is our defendant. Mr. Wright. Mr. Delight, did they finish their interrogation? Yes, but please don't leave me alone anymore. Mr. Delight, you lied to us before, didn't you? Well, you see, on the same night the sacred urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor department store, a blackmail letter you got summoned you to KB Security to hand over some money. And then that's where the CEO, Kane Bullard, was murdered. But there's only one Ron Delight, am I right? So the only question is, where were you that night? This time I want to hear the whole truth. Your life depends on it. Okay. Mr. Delight, do you still insist that you are masked to mask? Isn't that what I've been saying since yesterday? That was a quick response. Tell me about it. To be honest, it's starting to get irritating. But listen, Mr. Delight. At the trial today, we learned the true identity of the thief, didn't we? Oh yeah. That guy. Look at me. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. I guess it's true. I wasn't the one who stole that urn. Of course not. After all, you were at KB Security at the time. So then the person dressed up as Mask to Mask in this photo, it's gotta be Detective Atney. Okay, so that night you didn't go to Lordly Taylor, you went to KB Security, right? Well, the Atney guy, so if this is true, the Atney guy did steal the urn. He is the Mask to Mask guy. It was a red herring, I suppose. This whole case is a red herring. Yes, I went to KB Security at the time the blackmail note said I should. Alright, what happened next? Well, I used to work there, so I knew where the CEO's office was. I knocked, but there was no answer. So then I used the key card to unlock the door. That's probably when he dropped his wallet. When I went into the CEO's office, someone was in there. Someone? Then suddenly they bashed me over the head. Bam. That was the Atney guy's shadow. Was it Kane Bullard that hit you? I don't know. The person ran away while I was still stunned. When I came to my senses, the sight I saw left me speechless. Not the tongue sticking out. Please. The dead body of the CEO was right there in front of me. I thought I'd die myself. Oh, he was strangled with a tie. Okay, I'm gonna snooze another ad. I thought I should do something with the body. So that's why you put it in the safe? Yes, that's right. Oh my god. So he's gonna get... Okay, like in a real court system, he like found a dead body and didn't report it. And he also like... Isn't that a... I don't know if that counts as mutilating a corpse, because I asked this before. Adrian stuck a fork in someone's chest or whatever in the what like 2 cases before this. And this is like also tampering with like a crime scene too, right? To make sure they're done. I think okay, it wasn't a fork, it was a knife, but still. Like, oh my god, you found a dead body and you stuffed him in a safe? I used to be the chief of one of the security teams, so I knew how to open it. Okay, and what did you do after that? Well, that's different, Kiva. That's chicken. He's not eating the CEO. You know? At least I don't think so. I got out of there for starters. I was the one who set up the security cameras in that building. So I knew how to avoid being spotted by them. Nick. All of a sudden, Mr. Delight kind of sounds like the murderer to me. I have a theory. I do have a theory. I'm gonna see if I'm right, because when he said someone bashed him over the head, it showed a silhouette of Luke at me. And maybe he was the killer. But you know who I think actually stole the urn? I think I know who. I just have a feeling. I just have a feeling. Because she came back and gave us the urn. Remember? She left before the trial started and like all of a sudden she had it. I mean, technically that bag was in his apartment. But I don't know. Their house has that stuff decorated. I think she is mask to mask, which honestly, that's kind of fucking girl boss of her, if that's the case. I do love Desiree. And I like the idea that her husband is just this, like, meek little man who just thinks he's something. I don't know. That's just my theory. Now that, like, the pieces are coming together. Mr. Delight, is it true that 1 year ago you were forced to quit KB Security? Also, I mean, we'll get back to the game, but she talked about like how she has this like motorcycle bike and she loves to like go fast, like she's like a speedster. It's just giving like, you know, a thief vibe kind of thing in a fun way. How did you? I'm begging you, please don't tell Desi, please. Don't worry, we haven't told anyone yet. Oh, thank goodness. No, but I suppose I'll have to tell her sometime. She'll find out eventually. Why have you been hiding it from her anyway? Desi would despise me if she ever found out I was living a life of crime. Criminal, a thief? She'd never forgive me. My marriage would be over. Knowing that, why did you become a thief in the first place? Because Desi spends money like it's water. See, I don't know though, although this is kind of contradicting my theory, but we'll see. There's no job in the world that could bring in enough money, except being a thief, at least that's what I thought anyway. So he became mask to mask for Desiree, huh? Okay. Do we have anything to show him? Because we have to prove to Adrian that the urn was legitimate. The gem and the thief. Hey, this is an article about my debut heist. Boy, that was a tough one. Before I knew it, they were hot on my trail. But mask to mask, he must have gotten away, right? It says in the article that he disappeared. That's right, I got a sudden burst of inspiration. I hid my mask-to-mask costume in a nearby plastic bucket. Then I quickly changed into my security guard uniform. Pretty clever, eh? Wow, awesome. Hey, hold the phone. The guard in this photo. Is this you, Mr. Delight? Hee, that's right. Nice trick if I do say so myself. So he is the... See, I'm getting confused now. Did you steal the fucking urn or not? Nice and easy to figure out. Even Pearls could see through that in a heartbeat. Okay. But as you might expect, Detective Atme found the disguise. He truly deserves the title of Ace Detective. Detective Atme found the mask-to-mask disguise? That's interesting. Yes, and I heard that he brought it home with him. So that's it. That's when Atme got his hands on this. Thanks to that, I got the chance to remake my costume. That must have been really time-consuming, huh? Yes, it took quite a while to complete. Anyway, a few days after that, I received the first of the blackmail letters. Blackmail letters? You got them starting when? Tell me more now. Hey, calm down. Don't get so worked up. I think the security place was blackmailing him because they were keeping record of the stuff he was stealing. I think. But then I wonder if the Luke Atme guy, who was like also going after him, allegedly, resorted, like most people do in this game, resort to murder to get what they want. This blackmail letter, is this the first one you got? No, of course not. But this is the first one that ever called me out to a specific location. So did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. That first letter, it said, I know you did it. So someone found out about your true identity, just like that? It's not easy being a master thief, you know. I've got proof that it was you, so give up, it went on to say. So in the end, I had to give up the treasure I went through all that trouble to steal. Is that right? Hey, hang on a second, what do you mean you had to give it up? Oh, don't worry, after I put the jewel in the safe deposit box the letter specified, someone sent me $10,000. No one said anything about me being worried, you know. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. Plans? Oh my god. Heist plans. Are my eyes itchy? What are these plans you're talking about? They were instructions on how to steal a crown or painting or some other rare treasure. They showed me security blind spots, escape routes, and even suggested training methods. So you mean that the one who planned the heist wasn't you? No, it wasn't. I only planned the very first one. After that, I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed plans. It sounds like Mr. Delight is thankful to the person that was blackmailing him. So Ron Delight was masked to mask after all, but someone else is behind the thefts, someone who planned them all out in detail. All I had to do was deposit the treasures I stole into the safe deposit box. Then I just waited for the cash to come in the mail. Could you try not to look so gleeful about it? So you went after the sacred urn because of one of those plans too? Well, see, truth is, I've never seen the urn. All I did was follow the instructions and steal what I was told to steal. Mr. Delight, is everything you just told me the truth? Yes, but please don't tell Desi, okay? Interesting. Ron, before we go, there's one more thing I want to ask you. Yes, but please don't hurt me. Mr. Kane Bullard, do you swear that it wasn't you who killed him? Yes, of course. I could never. I'm not lying. All I did was hide his body in the safe. But then I was afraid they'd discover what I did, so I turned myself in yesterday. Why? Well, if the judge had ruled that I was guilty of robbery, then I'd have an alibi, right? I guess so. You're really clever, Mr. Delight. I guess I have no choice but to take Mr. Delight at his word. Mystic Maya. Hey. Oh, it's Pearly. I'm back. Hey, Pearl, so what have you been up to this whole time? The sacred urn, Mr. Nick, I took it back to Crane Village to have it examined. And did you find out? Well, there's no need to worry. They said it's the real urn. Oh, that's a relief. I was really worried. Well, there we go. But there's one small problem. These cute little pink splotches. They said that it's paint and that they were put on the urn recently. Why are we talking about the pink splotches again? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? We've got to find out how they got there. That's the big deal. Yes, Mr. Nick, we've got to find out how they got there. Okay, we'll go find out how they got there. Please don't forget about me. Well, there we go. We can take that to, Adrian now. Thank God. And the pink paint is probably going to connect to the murder somehow, I would imagine. Oh, Pearl, how nice to see you. Hello there. I haven't seen you around lately. What have you been up to? Well, actually, I was having this urn examined. Oh, I see. Maybe if we take another good look at this urn, we can figure out the mystery of what actually happened here. Nick, let's look around one more time. Okay, so let's do that first. If they're saying to do that, we have to look at this pink paint, obviously. This box, there's something about it that's bothering me. That's the box that the sacred urn is in. It looks like there's some pink paint on it, too. Hi, DJ. Welcome in. And it's definitely the same color as the stuff on the urn. I think I know how the paint got on it. Alright, let's investigate again. Okay, so we have that. Because we're probably going to need this before we interrogate her again. And there's pink paint here. It looks to me like it's been dry for several days. There's something suspicious about this paint mark. The bottom left part of it is shaped oddly and it's shocking pink. Mr. Nick, could it be that this odd shape is... Yeah, pretty sure this is it. Ah, that's the box the sacred urn was in. If you look here, there's a little bit of paint on the box as well. Wow, you're right. Look, it matches. What is it, Mr. Nick? This is all turning out exactly as I thought it would. Okay. I think it's all starting to become clear. We're that much closer to solving the mystery of what happened to the urn. We don't even care about the murder. But let's try this again. Do you have any evidence the urn that was submitted at the trial was genuine? We do. Sorry to break it to you, but the urn is the genuine article. Pearls went back to Crane Village and had it examined. Is that right? That's nice, but I don't see how. What she discovered was that the urn had been broken again. Did you say again? Yes, it was broken once a year ago, and now it looks like the same thing has happened. And quite recently, too. Recently? Are you saying that this urn was broken recently? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why do you think it was broken recently? How do you know? Probably the paint. Although maybe it's not this. Oh, God. Well, wait a minute. Oh, wait. I mean, this isn't related at the moment, but this is saying he died from a blunt trauma to the head, but when we saw that picture of him dying, he was strangled. We'll have to remember that. I mean, what do I present here? You know, I can present this. The ad. Oh, yeah, you're right, because the ad is showing I am. Yeah. Yeah. This poster, it was made recently, right? Poster. Ah, the poster for the exhibit. At the time when this photo was taken, the urn said I am on it. But now, for some mysterious reason, it says Amy. Also, welcome in, Puma. When the urn was fixed, the letters were transposed. Ah. Okay, there we go. I am. What does that even mean? I don't know anything about that. I wasn't even there when this photo for this poster was taken. That was a mistake. Now tell the truth. Wait. 4. Even if the urn was broken, I had nothing to do with it. Huh? Yes, that's it. It must have been one of the people at the photo shoot. They probably dropped it. I'm sure that's what happened. It looks like she's not going to give up that last psyche lock so easily. Do you have any proof the urn was broken here at Lordly Taylor? The paint. The paint. Let's look at the photo, though, too. Does the photo... I scrolled too far. I mean, the photo does show that paint there already dripped. So that must have happened well before. Well, Miss Andrews, what is this supposed to mean? There's pink paint all over this urn. And there is pink paint all over the floor and walls of this basement warehouse. In other words, this urn was broken here. You can't weasel out of this one, Miss Andrews. But... And she would be the type to put the urn back together, like, perfectly. Aside from the paint marks. She's trying to make her escape. But you can get pink paint anywhere. Well, there's none in my office, that's for sure. Well, there is in my room. Liar. Anyway, the paint on the urn and the paint on the floor, there's no proof that it's the same paint. Come on, this is getting ridiculous. The proof linking the paint on the urn to the paint on the floor is the paint on the box. This box. The urn was stored in this, right? Yes, that's right. Well, there's pink paint on this box as well. I think you already know where I'm going with this, don't you? Yes, more or less. The paint on the floor has an odd shape imprinted in it, doesn't it? Yes. If you put this box into the impression in the paint, you can see it fits perfectly. Which means this box was dropped right over there. And that is when the urn was broken. Your name does you justice, Mr. Wright. Period. Give us all of our health back. All of it. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I was the one who broke the urn. Boy, does this make me feel like some sort of evil school teacher. I'm a terrible person. Not only did I break it, but I tried to hide what I did. Well, that's not so hard to understand, is it, Pearly? No, not at all. I know just how she feels. It happened about 2 weeks ago, just after the poster photo was taken on the same day the urn arrived here. I thought I'd put it away down here for safekeeping. I was carrying it in the box. When I tripped on a paint can and lost my balance, the box I was carrying crashed to the ground. I heard a terrible noise and I thought my heart was going to stop. Fearing the worst, I opened the lid of the box and that's when it happened. Oh. The broken pieces of the urn fell out of the box and landed right in the paint. I was in shock and let out a huge scream. I felt like doing that today. I can totally see how that could have happened. Yeah, as clumsy as she is, I'm sure Maya understands. Well, I knew it was the most important treasure in all of Korean Village, so I tried as hard as I could to fix it. Fortunately, the shards were pretty big. And that's when the I am changed to Amy. I didn't know how it was originally written, but any sane person fixing it would have assumed it said Amy. Any sane person? Really? Oh no! Oh, Pearls. And it keeps going back to this sad photo. She said she wasn't very good at spelling. Anyway, I put the urn into the storeroom and no one had seen it since. They really like to rub that in that she broke that urn. But there's something I don't get. When we first came here, I didn't see any paint stains. Well, that's because it was so ugly and embarrassing. I used the golden statue to cover it. The Amy face statue, aha. The first time that we came down here, it was on the night that the sacred urn was stolen. But Mr. Nick, there were no paint marks on the walls or floor of the warehouse when we were here. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. And I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I see, now it makes perfect sense. But there's still one thing I find strange. What is it, Pearl? The day after the urn was stolen, we came here again. And that time, the statue had been moved and the paint was clearly visible. She's right about that. Well, Miss Andrews? What? I don't know anything about that. I placed it there to cover the paint, so why would I move it again? Well, then who was it? Who would have done it and why? On the day before the theft, the statue was definitely closer to the door. And then the next day, it was moved, but why? And it was also moved by the time that photo took a picture of the thief, too. Because the paint is in the picture. It looks like there's some connection between the sacred urn and the murder case. Why do you think so, Nick? Because this is Ace Attorney, that's why. Because that night, the real thief, Ron Delight, was at KB Security. So then why did another mask-to-mask show up here? A lot of different things are pointing to one undeniable fact. One undeniable fact? The murder trial is starting tomorrow, but it looks like that thief is going to be making another appearance. I just feel like Desiree is connected to it somehow. She was a part of something. She has to be. But now we do the trial. We just have 2 parts of the trial, and then this case is over with. But the trials do take a while. Defendant lobby number 4. Hey, Nick. What is it this time? You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. They've all been murder cases. All of them. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmey's trial today. Detective Atmey? They say they're going to try him as mask to mask. Already? That was fast. Boy, I'd love to see mask to mask's trial. I know. By the way, where's Pearls? Also, we don't even know actually that Godot is going to be the prosecutor, because this is technically a different case. By the way, where's Pearls? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like me. Who is that? Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Yeah, ever since that incident last year. Please, don't ignore me. Oh, Mr. Delight, good morning. No one likes me. No one would notice me, even if I killed someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec. You don't mean you're the murderer? No, I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's not right. A thief can't really be poor. Now let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heist. Do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murder, Nick? It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock. How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. This has been like the whiniest client we've had. I will say that. He is whiny. Oh no, okay, it is Godot. Okay. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready. Preparation is the last refuge of the weak. Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot. Ugh, he's got the judge in the palm of his hand yet again. Rondelite is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot. Ha. Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right? Yes, well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case. Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security. Look, this photo showing him being strangled, but the file is saying he was hit with a blunt object. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. of the previous day. And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant. Very well then, Mr. Godot. Please call your first witness. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial, but the first one is always the best. Mr. Godot, your witness. Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Rondelite, has to say for himself. The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but... well... I remember when Mia was defending me, she allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. Mia. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify. You've got guts, Trite. Alright then, Mr. Ron Delight, please take the stand. You did it, didn't you? Yes. What? No. That's not true. For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever. Well, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with that face he's making. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin. Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security? Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. Oh, this is gonna be rough. The worst client. That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Okay, I mean, that's 1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place. The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up. It's bitter today, too. Just like my destiny. You never knew that from the way he's chugging it down. That guy's gonna... I mean, I guess he's from hell. Allegedly. He's from hell. So I guess he can't really have a heart attack from all the cups of coffee he drinks. Okay. That evening around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. 1 a.m., huh? You're absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was also a bit... delayed? 1 a.m., that's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered, correct? It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure. Who is he asking on a date? That's what I want to know. Okay, the blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. It ordered you there? It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere. Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then? Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this, or take that. Why don't you save this for later, Mr. Delight? Now what should I do? I mean, let's just press harder. So what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring $50,000. How did this twink get his hair to do that? God knows. Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder. Oh, but wait. I never intended to pay that money anyway. Oh, is that right? After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony. Yes, sir. A muddy mudskipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. This is probably a contradiction, because let's read this. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. Liar, you're lying. Oh, this is a contradiction, excuse me. No. Okay. Maybe I had to press him on it first. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway? The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure it was referring to that whole mask-to-mask thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullard didn't have anything on me. He didn't. Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Desi believes in me. So that's why Ms. Delight didn't believe he was mask-to-mask. That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. We do have that folder, though. Wait a minute. Let's save. We have that, binder. Oh, sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. I've got a bad feeling about this. We better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth. Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. We have... Where's that binder? Wait, there it is. Could we present this? Because this was in the CEO's office. So he's saying the CEO didn't scare him. Clearly he was keeping tabs on the stuff you were stealing. And there's also this, that you were stealing as directed by black mail letters. If I do lose more health, I'm gonna reset. Because I don't want to lose 4 hit points this early on in the day. Because we still have the second part of the trial. Let's see. Really? Okay, no, actually. Okay, I don't think we pressed him on this yet. Let's press him. Used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yes, that's right. A security chief, you? And yet, a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge, a perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say? This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Oh. Let's see life after being fired. What did you do after being fired from KB Security? I spent a lot of time looking for work, but then I decided I wanted to start something myself. Not good. This is going from bad to worse. So I started looking at books, TV, and movies, learning all I could about masked men. Masked men? So you wanted to try drawing a comic, right? About masked men? No, that's not right. I wanted to become... I mean, this writing... No, we're not going to talk about it. Let's move along, shall we? Well, you asked the question. You're being quite odd today, Mr. Wright. Way to bring the spinning buzzsaw one notch closer to your own neck, Ace Attorney. Okay, well, let's... press him again and select the other answer about why he was fired. Because we might as well. Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Yeah, Princess Leia, I can see that. Well, the world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that. Okay, then I take it... Oh. Defendant, please answer the question. Well, I needed money. You needed money? Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I sold data from the company. Come again? KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies, and since I was a security team chief, you stole some data and sold it. Mr. Bullard found out, and I was fired immediately. What? I wish I had never asked that. Well, no, we need to know this information. I was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I had quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good. Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You'd do well to remember that. He sure told you. So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct? Yes, I'm sorry. This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse. Crashed and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. He fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi doesn't know about that. Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby, what else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste. So Ms. Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm just laughing. Do you ever just get like a random memory about something? It just hit. I'm thinking back to when Trashley was playing GTA RP. This was like way back. Like it was on some random server and she couldn't figure out how to open the door of this car, like she was stuck inside, and she was like there were like, you know, like RP police like walking by. She was like, get the jaws of life, I can't get out. It was funny. You had to be there, but it was so like every time I hear jaws of life, I just think of like a GTA character like having a jaws of life like open the door because they can't escape. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other. I can't believe it. This case has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples. Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright. There wasn't much to his testimony, was there? Sounds like he's avoiding something at least. That's what it sounds like to me. Uh-oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. We better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill beans, we'd never get closer to the truth. So I think... the blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. But you were stealing data. I mean, you had already done that. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway? The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask to mask thing.
Objection.
Oh. There we go. Sometimes, I have learned, sometimes when you press everything, you have to go back and press other things again. Oh yeah, that meme. Call an ambulance, but not for me. Yeah. I love that meme. I'm afraid that reason isn't going to hold up anymore. What do you mean? The victim had no proof the defendant was mask to mask, but you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier. So Godot's doing it for us, basically. That was all over with once I was fired. But it is true that the fact I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there was no reason for me to pay up now a whole year later. Is that really true? What is it, Nick? The fact that Ron was stealing company data. I wonder if he would have had a problem if that ever became public knowledge. I feel like yes! Yes! That's prison! Mr. Delight, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to do by bullying your own client? Huh. Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow. Why did that sound sexual? There is something with this man in this fucking courtroom. Everything to me has gone, erotic. I'll just say it. Everything's like, I'm getting innuendos from him. I'm not crazy, right? He's like flirting with my client too. Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo. Little lawyer amigo. Yes, now come on, provide some evidence to back up your assertion. I have... Well, no, he's a little bit more buff. You know who he's reminding me of just very subtly? Because we don't know what's under that mask. What if he's the one guy from the first game? But he wasn't, he was kind of like, he was very skinny. The cowboy guy. But he also had, I was attracted to him too. But his hair wasn't like that, but you know, he could be doing a whole, like, that could be a wig for all we know. But he did have a scruffy jawline like that. And he was wasn't he also, no, he wasn't a prosecutor, I don't think. Never mind. But still, we haven't seen what happened to him. I don't know, I'm making stuff up. Provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Why would Mr. Delight want to keep his data stealing secret from going public? I do have a type. I do have a type. I think I'm also just like, everything to me is a theory now. I don't trust anything. Why would Mr. Delight want to keep his data stealing secret from going public? I mean, the blackmail letter said he was going to take that diamond back or something. Do we think it's this? If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. But that, I don't think that has anything to do with him going public. I don't know. I'm afraid I'm just gonna keep losing health, and I hate losing health this early on in a trial, like the start of the day. We're not gonna get it back. I wonder if the blackmail letters got mixed up. I just don't know. Oh, like if that letter was meant to go to the CEO, that's possible. I'm just like not... Like I said, this letter, I guess he didn't want his... But again, it's like, it doesn't seem like that seems to be it. I might look this one. Only because I don't want to lose 2 health points when I can't save right now. So let's see. Oh, Desiree. Duh. She doesn't like thieves and criminals. I didn't think about presenting people. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, of having a certain person find out your secret. Gulp. A certain person? Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. But listen to me, my Desi, she's... Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins. Godot. Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault. What do you mean? Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about. Oh, No, everything is falling neatly into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry. Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Again, see? I'm just... My mind is just going places. Whoever wrote this episode, they knew what they were doing. Clearly there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife, and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much. The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 a.m. in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We're all ears. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Yeah, that's Luke at me. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there dead. I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He did. He said that mask to mask struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Atme turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie. Huh. No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that. What are you saying? I really was attacked. I feel very attacked. We'll find out if what you have to say is true or not during the cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend. You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. The way that, like, Von Karma and Godot literally just physically assault us. We get whipped. We have hot coffee thrown at our faces. Like, Edgeworth never did any of that to us. He loved us. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Who is this suspicious shadow? If there were 1,000 of me, and if even one knew, I'd tell you, trust me. His dodging all of our questions is not helping us win his case. Okay, then, how was the victim Mr. Bullard at that time? What do you mean by how was he? Was he already dead? Was he still alive? Maybe he was the one who hit you in the first place. That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Forget it. Okay, suddenly I was hit on the head on the forehead. For that, I remember being a bit dazed. Your forehead? Yes, I was hit on the forehead as soon as I entered the room. It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack. Do you remember anything about who hit you? Well, like I said, it was a fast and powerful hit. So I think I was a little dazed for a while. I don't think Mr. Delight even grasped what you were asking. Yeah, I wasn't grasping what I was asking either, to be honest. I'd like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself. Maybe that would knock some sense back into him. If I hadn't been wearing that... Wearing what? What were you wearing? Could you please clarify what you're referring to? Why, my mask-to-mask costume, of course. Wait, just a moment. Mask-to-mask? It does look like a metal... Like, a metal mask. Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as mask-to-mask. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security. What? Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me earlier. Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets. I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind? Huh, my 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly. At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony. I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask-to-mask costume. Why were you dressed up as mask-to-mask? Why, because I'm mask-to-mask, of course. What are you talking about? Mask-to-mask trial is being held next door. Ah, yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the mask-to-mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What do you mean by took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body. What was that? Back up a second. Yes? You were the one that hid the body in the safe? Well, yeah. Inconceivable. Oh my god. Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? What? The answer is simple. When they take them off. As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer? Ha, so you're not as stupid as you look. His metaphor this time was really obscure. Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you? Well, yes. Why am I the only one not in the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony. Yes, sir. Uh-oh, looks like a storm front is moving in over the fair weather judge. Oh my god. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in a drawer. That's not exactly what I meant. When I saw that corpse, I kind of lost it. I thought, if they find his corpse, they'll think I did it. Huh, I think you had a simpler reason than that. It's because you killed him. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body. That certainly makes more sense. Hold on, 10 minutes? What is it, Nick? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances. What circumstances? Hey Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were? That's it, I'll take a look at the court record and present some evidence. We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we? There's not much in this testimony either. I bet you he's still hiding something. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to draw it out of him. I just hope he doesn't make things any more complicated. Okay. 10 minutes. There's the buzzer. The buzzer went off at 1:02. Do we think it's the buzzer? Let me press again and see what Maya says. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in a drawer. That's not exactly what I meant. When I saw that corpse, I kind of lost it. I thought, if they find his corpse, they'll think I did it. I think you had a simpler reason for that. It's because you killed him. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body. That certainly makes more sense. Hold on. 10 minutes. What is it? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body and spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? If you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were? What are the circumstances? The blackmail? Is that the circumstance? Like what's going on? And he did use this key card. There are no fingerprints on it. I wonder if he pressed... I wonder if Mr. Delight pressed the buzzer. Because if he had gloves on, which looks like he does, he's the one that pressed the buzzer. But I wonder if that's what they're wanting me to present now. Let's see. I think it is, because they're hinting at us he was wearing his costume. Let's see. Because if the buzzer went off, and if he pressed it, you're not going to take 10 minutes, because you're pressing the buzzer. I'd be worried security's going to come up and find you. Objection! Yeah. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, the security team is supposed to come running, which they didn't, but that's besides the point. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m. What? If Mr. Ron Delight truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way.
Objection!
Ha, let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea that there were security personnel in the building. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as a chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them.
Objection!
But as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known. Objection! Objection! Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off. This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is. Conscious? What do you mean by that? Ugh. Fine, let's hear your theory. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious, so he fainted. That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. The Rekai Wiki, yeah. That was a lot. I think that's one of the most back and forth objections we had. That was insane. Although I will say, I'm kind of like the judge here where I'm sitting back and I don't know who to believe. I'm just confused. That's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Mr. Delight was knocked out and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was, they knocked out Ron Delight and then pressed the buzzer. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, this is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then who pressed the buzzer? It was the victim, of course, but there were no fingerprints. There were no fingerprints. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button. No, Phoenix, you know there's no fingerprints. So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene, but how? Can I prove that it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer? Yes! 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 The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. There are no fingerprints. I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency buzzer. Is there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not. Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue. Now I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally, he would have left his fingerprints behind. Please! Ron Delight obviously wiped them off. With what? Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment. He touched that button, I know he did. The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Mask to Mask. And Mask to Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints? True. Order, order, order. It would seem. I've been forced to eat crow. What? I wonder what blend number crow flavored coffee is. However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden? Huh, it looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks. They're on to you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 a.m. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Yeah, I clicked off that. I'm like, we are not listening to that sound. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond. Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. Very well then. Let me save. We're saving. Oh ho, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent. Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? Also, thank you for the hydrate server. Welcome in. I feel like, okay, it can't be the last one. There's no way. It just makes sense that, like, he was trying to knock out Ron, press the buzzer, leave, the security guard comes up, sees that there was a struggle there, right? That's the way I don't know if they didn't mean to, unless they're making this thing like maybe there was a struggle and they got like pushed into the button or something to call the guard. Also, welcome in, Concerned Weeb. Welcome in. I'm gonna say the second one for now. The killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Also, sorry, an ad just started, guys. Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose? Yes, although as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. Again, I'm just getting his clock cleaned. What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in? No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer. I love that it's telling us who it is. Hypothetically, yes. Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron Delight. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron Delight for the murder. When is the trial for this judge, though? Right? Order. That would be actually a pretty interesting case, I have to say. It would seem. I've been made to eat my words once again. Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Or wait a second. I'm the one and only Mask to Mask, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're going to drag that person in here right now. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. I feel like we have to say it's Luke Atney because it's been showing us his silhouette. Let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Ron Delight for the murder? Detective Luke Atney. He's the only one who knew. He's the only one who could have done it. Ace detective. Luke Atney. You mean Mask to Mask did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not mask to mask at all. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullet. Who else could it be? Also that, too. This case is not really... There's not a lot of witnesses in this one. Order, order. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Theft and murder, which is the more serious crime? They're not even close. Murder is more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital punishment. Please remember... And I'm just going to point it out, so many people in this town have done it for the most minor of inconveniences. Let that sink in. If it's that serious. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Luke Atme confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom. Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as well as masked to mask. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along, to be found guilty. Mask to Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Mask to Mask was Luke Atme's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi. A guilty verdict as an alibi? You know, it's almost time. For what? For Luke Atme's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial, after all. If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course. That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder. Mr. Luke Atme's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and failed to provide... I love how that trial is, like, more important than someone being murdered. If we were to intrude and failed to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for appeal. Am I really sure about this? A bet's only good when your life's the ante. Mr. Wright, I believe in you. Mr. Delight. So please, I'm begging you. Thanks, but okay, we're gonna save. We're gonna save. My decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this? Oh, it's Mia. What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. That voice, it sounds like Mia. Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess. Huh, so that's your answer, huh? Very well, I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke Atme to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. Can you imagine that? Interrupting another trial for this trial? Of course it's Payne. Well, I wonder, oh, wait, who's the defense attorney in this case, then? Well, Sir Detective Atme, I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. Oh no, Sir Detective Atme, you were the one who... Oh! I don't like that judge. No. Please, get him off my screen. That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Luke Atme. I don't like that. Wait, don't hand down your verdict yet, please. Well, well, Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom. Who's this hoser, huh? My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. And I wish to file an accusation against this man, Luke Atme. Accusation? You accuse Mask to Mask? That man is not Mask to Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer. What? So I love that this judge is also just clueless. The judge is Canadian. Please. Oh, the drama of it all. I didn't even know. Is hoser a Canadian? A Canadian term? I did see the A, and I don't think I said A. Because I'm not Canadian. But if I was Canadian, I would have said the A. That's kind of funny. What does hoser mean? Like poser? Kivo, another fellow Canadian. What does that even mean? My sis. I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then she's still alive, inside your heart. Like an unsophisticated redneck type person. Wow. Fucking rude. Nicky boy. Oh, I love Desiree. Ms. Delay. Is it true that Detective is the real killer? I love when she does this pose. She's like, oh my, like, I feel like I'm like at a coffee shop with her and she's like, oh my God, can you believe that he was the one? Like, I don't know. I like her little poses here. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atme want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. That's why I think, like... I don't think we're getting fooled by the time. Because there could be, you know... I feel like if it was a date issue, they would have revealed that already. I feel like if Ron was truly at the security place, and both of these men were, who was masked to mask other than Desiree? I don't know. Ironically, calling someone a hoser seems like a more sophisticated way of saying, hillbilly or redneck. So all of Alberta, please. My old FC, one of our guild leaders was, I think she was from Calgary or Alberta. I can't remember. And I had a friend I used to work with at Joanne's. She moved to Canada. She got married and her fiance was Canadian and they lived somewhere in that area. I said what I said, please. Better get back to the courtroom. They're not like not quite the same. We gotta be careful here, Kivo. Kiva, what time zone are you? Because Sinima, you're mountain time. Because Calgary is mountain time, right? Central. So that's like... See, I don't know Canadian provinces. I stand by what I said. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Alberta is trash, or MP trying to get Cecil on fire. Oh my god. Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atme, please take the stand. Oh, yeah, no thank you. I wouldn't want to live there. That tells me everything I need to know. Well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask to Mask. I'm sorry, I'm afraid even the great Luke Atme has no idea what you mean. Wait, are we in part 2 yet? We are in part 2, so this is the final part of part of the case. Also, thank you for the alert, concerned bee. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? I think that other judge like, I feel like if you're gonna have a beard like this, you have to have a mustache with it. Otherwise, it's giving, like, Amish. The Amish have beards like that, where they don't have a beard. Because I grew up in Central PA, there was Amish everywhere, and Mennonites. And that's how they grew their beards out. But without a mustache. And it's weird to me. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did this poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring. Wait a minute. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. Doesn't he? So he does. Look at this. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. So Puma was mentioning if the blackmail things were mixed up. What if this was sent to Luke at me instead? Interesting. And this was, so he was probably also the guy that was directing Ron to do all these other heists and providing him with money. Of course. Very well then, Luke at me. Let us begin with a simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. Alright, Mr. Atme, the night of the murder, speak. We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. And this is the alibi. I was stealing the urn as mask to mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. The photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured mask to mask was the same time as the murder. But he said it was easy, but you got in a struggle with somebody. It seems the main point of this discussion will be the photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. There's the timestamp. Even the great mask to mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. And also, don't say that. Von Karma says that, and you're not her. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. The alibi. Okay. Let me see. I want to check something. If they're giving us the hint that there's a clue in this photo. So there's the timestamp. And this just says went around at 1 a.m. on the night of the crime. So and that had to have been on October 12th. Because we have to prove that Because the way I'm thinking is that these crimes didn't go off at the same time, which would destroy his alibi. So I don't know. And this doesn't even have a time on it either. I don't know. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I'm called Mask to Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean? Huh, are you saying that this is not in fact Luke at me? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Mask to Mask to create an alibi? Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? I don't... Who would be his accomplice? Unless it was Desiree, which would... I would be upset about that. I would be very upset about that. If Luke Atme was at KB security during the murder, then the Mask to Mask in this picture has to be a fake. Then there really was an accomplice. But right now, I have no idea who it was. You think Ron was his accomplice? I don't have any idea right now either. Baseless objections are just what that guy wants. There's got to be another way, and I'm going to find it. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. We'll go back to that. We'll press on everything else, then we'll go back. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lord Lee Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? I guess just the way I'm looking at it is, even if it was like they can't both be at both places at once, which is why if there is a different accomplice, it has to be someone that's not them. And literally the only person it could be from the list of people we have is Desiree. And that's concerning if that's the case. So we'll press Ron or we'll present Ron first. If not, I'm gonna do Desiree, which I hope we don't have to do that. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atman was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lord Lee Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. Okay. The photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime? When you think about it, it's really odd. Yeah, it is odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose. He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. I mean, it does seem like that the urn wasn't actually behind that door that it shows him walking through, as if he like picked up the urn from where it was in that spot where the paint was, you know, did a little turn around and then went back so the camera would catch it. That's what it seems like he did. It looks like I better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's got to be something phony in that photo. The timestamp could be phony. I don't know. The time at which the camera captured mask to mask was the same time as the murder. I mean, not technically, but I don't know if we can contradict that. It's like by 4 minutes. About that camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now. It's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? Oh, he's reading me like a book. I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lord Lee Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lord Lee Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. It looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious. So this alibi is false. It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the mask to mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. Interesting. Okay, so let's save. Which one was the one where we said he had an accomplice? This photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I'm called Mask to Mask. But conveniently, that also means there's no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean? Are you saying that this is not in fact Luke at me? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Mask to Mask to create an alibi? Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? If Luke at me was at KB Security during the murder, then the Mask to Mask in this picture has to be a fake. Exactly, you had an accomplice. Now remember, you've said that, Mr. Trite, because there's no going back. If you're making baseless claims, I'll treat you to a penalty myself. That penalty is probably boiling hot, too. So who is it, Mr. Trite? Who is the accomplice? Like, look, not him, not her, not her, not her, not him. We could say it could only be Ron or Desiree. Let's see what happens. It was this person. And it sounds like it's not... Do you have any evidence that this person is in fact the accomplice? Well, the aura that this person has around them is... If you're going to judge someone by their aura, we'd be right up there as the #1 suspect. Okay. Let's try this again. We'll say Desiree, and we'll see what happens. I'll try to skip past this. Even though she hates criminals. Okay, yeah, it's giving the same... No, okay. We can try that. Because we don't know who it is, technically. I mean, it is another option. Let's see. And then if not, we're gonna have to find information elsewhere in this testimony. Yeah, I could see Penguin. It's giving very that. Okay, so it's not mask to mask. Okay. Alright, so let's just go back and repress the stuff and see what we can find. They give us little breadcrumbs. I had more than enough time to repair it. It was a pathetically easy job. We have to remember this, too, that he was allegedly hit in the head. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right, that was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? What I think is the time is not correct, because because remember, the CEO was killed with a blunt object, so I feel like he stole the urn first, took the sword thing with him as the weapon, killed the CEO with it, and he did go back there, because remember, day one, when we were down in the basement looking for clues, he was there. Oh, and he came back there, I'm pretty sure, too. So, like, he wasn't a suspect at the time, so, like, he was just, you know, a security guard, allegedly. So, I don't know. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It is kind of odd. Interesting. If he had an accomplice, wouldn't they have to have something to do with that security company? Because the other hint was that the photo was edited. I mean, the problem is, there's not... like, in this case in particular, like, if we don't count, like, these regulars that we normally have here, there's not a lot of people in this case. We didn't say Adrian, but I don't think... I'm just not getting the vibe that she, like, willingly helped with this case in that kind of way. And same thing with Larry. Like, if she's an, quote, accomplice, I don't think it was, like, knowingly, you know, unless they're trying to trick us. If you think the time wasn't right, then couldn't he be? He could. I mean, we can go back and try that. We can try Adrian, too. They're also kind of giving us a hint that, like, we have to show something that shows that, like, his ace detective skills are not what they are. I don't know what that means. Okay. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here. Is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime? Surely even you understand by now. Lordly Taylor provided that camera. No, honestly, I appreciate the input because I need input on this. Because I really don't know. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed King Bullard unless I had an accomplice. You guys can't hear my headset dying, can you? It's not gonna die right this moment, but it is gonna beep in my headset for a while. It's very annoying. It's obnoxious even. That means I could not have killed King Bullard unless I had an accomplice. So he did mention it twice now. Think long and hard about that night, the basement warehouse, and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? You can hear me. You just can't hear the beeping, right? I mean, my headset is not what I'm using as the microphone. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Okay. Well, what do we think is funny about this picture? Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Is it the paint? Because the statue wasn't moved at that point, right? Maybe, is that it, maybe? I'm gonna save. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? Because this is what I was saying a little bit earlier, is he's no ring. I think the ring is on this hand, Kivo. And he probably would have taken it off. But like he's walking through this door as well. I don't know. She did try to cover this up with that statue, and it's no longer there. The funny part is right here. Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood. Now this case is getting interesting. Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright, what is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? The statue? The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on the night, then the statue should have been there. So the picture was taken before. Okay. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance. Huh. In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? Could it be him? Because, like, remember... Well... Because it did have the sword in it. And I'm wondering if maybe... he didn't want to see the sword being bent in the photo? Because it would give it away? I don't know. The sword was on the ground. It has to be him, right? The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atme. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, I mean, he did say that. Why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue, here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me, you pretended to be masked to mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory, please enlighten us. Oh my god, not 3 hit points. Just where in this photo does this flaw exist? Now, is it this? Is it the time? I hate that the text went away. Because we already presented this. Oh god, 3 hit points is a lot. You know what? No. I can't risk that. It is the timestamp. Oh my god. Okay. Take that! Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atney went to KB Security and murdered King Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time. What does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was the statue placed beside the warehouse store? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atney had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Ah. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atney must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. I have never heard of that saying, but sure. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atney had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in this photo. I like sort of get it, and I also kind of don't, if I'm being honest. But I'm just following along. One moment, Your Honor, have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Ah. Order. Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait, now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good till the last straw. Again, it's not me. The defense has a very good point. A good point, so what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points. I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea, however. There's one point that can't be denied, which is that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way, don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Mask Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy, so let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. Oh my god, okay. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in Zavari. It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure. We found out that it's not valuable. So I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. That's pretty much all stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Zavari. Very well then, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination. Okay. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. You were asked to guard the urn by Ms. Adrian Andrews, is that right? Indeed, it seemed that they had heard of my svarkling reputation. I see Ms. Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You better watch out too, Maya. Oh, you were right though, Kiwa. The ring, his ring does go on that hand, but it clearly he took it off for the photo. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh, interesting new tidbit. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, I, Luke Atme, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. You mean this calling card? That's right, that is, without a doubt, my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course, because Atme knew about the emblem. Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse. Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. At last, I love how like this one is so specific. I feel like we have to contradict this one. I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed, to be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Atme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Not a lot to go on, is there? That detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination, that he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Atme stated very clearly, that he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. I mean, there's the photo. Do you think it's that, maybe? I mean, that's seen a picture of it. I feel like that's like the only thing it could be. To prove that he did see it before. And she also broke it. I don't know. Let's save. It's wanting us to contradict this. But let's press him again. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, I, Luke Atme, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. It's probably something about the way it was put back together. You think so? Okay, it's not this. I'm not even gonna entertain. I'm not even gonna entertain. It's not this either. Okay. Interesting. What else? I was unable to see the urn for myself. Take good care of the speckled urn. How would you know it's speckled? Mr. Atme, if you really are Mask to Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask to Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true, but so what? Truth be told, there is no way that Mask to Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Yeah. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh? Ha. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask to Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer? You don't think we're being a tad fickle? Welcome to Ace Attorney. Well, that's what I have to say. Welcome to Ace Attorney and this sham judge in this sham court. That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard? Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Right, motive. Might you, my merry murderous motive, manifest? Nick, he's getting his second wind. If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron Delight, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Well, we haven't shown that folder yet that shows that the CEO was like tracking those things, so that would be a motive, I would say, to kill. Enough for this game anyway. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed, according to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, Sir Old-Timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. I, Luke Atney, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. I don't know about that. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask to Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask to Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. Okay. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. Handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. So I think he wrote the letter, but I don't think he meant to send it to Ron. He meant to send it to Mr. Atney. I think. Because of the diamond mentioning. What? So they're confirming this, that Bullard wrote this letter. Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination. Okay. I, Luke Atney, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atney and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask to Mask and simply mistook who he was. Mistook? That's right, mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an error. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake Mask to Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask to Mask? Don't you already know that? Zavari. Take a look at this newspaper. Oh ho, that's the famous Tear of Emanon, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread this article, and Zavari, he got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask to Mask. I see. Ron told us he had to change out of his outfit when that photo was taken. That was an unusually reasonable deduction. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's. There's no mistake, we have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee. This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder, what's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Yup. Do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. That red diamond that's on his hand. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware, Zavari. KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies, and since I was a security team chief, I stole data from the company. Kane Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was the thief. Here is a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office, evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually masked to mask? On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable, but I pressed too early. Do you really think that story is going to hold up? That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Okay. Ronnie thinks he's masked to mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Please. Ah, well, Mr. Trite. Was he trying to act like Ms. Delight just now? I thought he was actually pretty convincing. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. Now that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is the deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story and better saved for another time. Very well, another time. Those so-called long stories aren't usually all that long, at least not in my experience. So you're going to try to connect Detective Atme to Mr. Bullard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail. That's true. Was that blackmail letter... Hi, Waffle. He's the killer, actually. I thought you were talking to me. I was like, who the fuck is calling me Pinocchio? Yeah, that's his name is Luke Atme. Get it? Luke at me. But yeah, we're actually getting near the end of the case. Is that blackmail letter really intended for him? So it's in the blackmail letter. It's talking about that diamond. That's how it's connecting them. But where do we present that is the question. Since we don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. Okay. So let's save again. Well, maybe my model. See... She's telling us to press more. We'll see. Luke Atme had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of the detective. Now, speaking of who probably is Pinocchio, but not their nose. Godot gives that energy for me. Okay, we're unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope, that was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Okay. So not that. Kane Buller decided to investigate Mask to Mask and simply mistook who he was. Mistook. That's right, mistook, from the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an error. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake Mask to Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Press hard. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask to Mask? Don't you already know that? Safari, take a look at this newspaper. Oh, that's the famous tear of him on a magnificent jewel. That photo shows the magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread this article in Safari. He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask to Mask. I see. Can we look at that? So it doesn't actually have text on it, it's just a picture. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delay. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000, and the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. There's no mistake, we have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder. Yeah. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Oh, do you have any evidence of that? It is the blackmail letter. There's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. And they even show you, like, here's my hand with the red diamond. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save this. It's like, where do we present it? That's what I'm not positive on, but we can try here. And the music's still going, so it tells me I'm not even gonna entertain it. I'm not even gonna entertain it. It's just where? I'll present it here, and if it's wrong again, I'm gonna reset again. Okay. That was my second choice. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help. But... Oh, there was no addressee. Okay. I had the right idea, I suppose. I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Well, wait a minute. Are we show us the contradicting evidence in the so am I presenting this again? Huh, a little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me. I think you mean 1-2 punch. Mr. Wright, try thinking things through a little more before finding fault. What? There's gotta be something off about it somewhere. Yes! No, wait a minute. I'll read that fucking letter again. If you don't, I will take that red diamond you received the other day instead. How am I supposed to present that? It's not here to present. And, like, this isn't here either to show anything. Unless I present him, you know. Hold on. I'm looking this up, because now I'm kind of annoyed. Oh, there's the newspaper clipping. Okay, so this is where I presented this. Okay. Show us the contradicting evidence and the content of the blackmail letter. I mean, this was a blue diamond, or, well, it's not even a diamond. It doesn't say. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel. What about it? Problem is this jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? I don't... Again, this is another one of these parts of these cases where it's like, I don't feel like I would have deduced this by myself. Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Mask to Mask stole at all. And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you were trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else. That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite? That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. Let me speak. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. It was him. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? Yeah, and they're all like, is that what you're trying to, like, if you would let me speak? You have been personally involved in every single Mask to Mask case, and in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Order in the court. Order, I say. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh, I don't like the way he said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke Atme, are you for real? Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him. Oh yeah, he is addicted to coffee. Answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world... Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity? Atme killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atme wanted to so desperately keep secret was his identity as... I don't think it's the first one. See, this is where I'm getting confused, because... there's two cases of blackmail going on here. Well, so you might have missed the first... Well, this case in itself is, there's a lot. I'll just say that. There's a lot going on. But the person we're defending was getting blackmailed. And I think the blackmailer, who is Luke Atme, was getting blackmailed by the CEO, who is now the victim because he was murdered. I'm gonna say as a blackmailer. I could be wrong. Luke Atme was a blackmailer. Objection. Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atme. Are you saying that Atme was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit that does sound a little odd. It's not odd, it's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme. But Ron DeLite was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. No save. I was confident. I actually didn't know. I have looked up a couple things. I didn't know this. I was confident. So did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes. Just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed plans. In which case, that would mean that Ron DeLite was actually Mask to Mask. That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. DeLite steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atme. So I have to get my dog. Come on. Not the silence. Okay. Now I see it's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, we received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you? You say that I, Luke Atme, was blackmailing Ron DeLite, in which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask to Mask. Well, yes. Ron DeLite started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. Okay. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. Oh, I was gonna save here. During the first crime, how did Luke Atme know that Ron DeLite was Mask to Mask? Was this the oh, this was the first heist. He said that he had to switch off his costume and get back into his security guard outfit, and then Luke took his outfit, and that's where he got the this. Allegedly. But what do I present here to show that? I hate that, like, I have the right idea, but I could possibly present the wrong thing, which kind of pisses me off, even though they could both lead to the same conclusion. My gut is telling me the brooch, because it seems more tricky than the newspaper clipping. But this also says about the first heist. I'm only going to lose two. I'm going to say the newspaper. Let's see. I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clip. It has a picture of you and Ron DeLite in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask to Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mask to Mask was really Ron DeLite. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Mask to Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He was just a slummy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. And he sure sweats a lot. That nose is like a faucet. Why you? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. Yeah, I did. So, I do voices, and everyone in the gallery is the judge talking. Everyone talks like this. Or just... I'm a famous and proud ace detective and also masked mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Get her, Jade. Why, you... How dare you even dare... Oh, there he goes. Oh, she's losing it. Is he speaking pig Latin? Like, what's... what's going on? I think we've... I was gonna say, there we go. It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme. Really? We're done! We're done! The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I've already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. What do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right, that's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bull. But... there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way. Do we know that? We have to know that. Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright, this is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night. But can you really prove that? That's long enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer. Let's save. We're gonna save. Because I'm not confident. That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security and the defense... I feel like we have to say can prove it. Because there's no more days here. The defense can prove it with evidence. Are you sure? Ah, don't you worry, I'll watch over you as you break down and fall to pieces. Very well then, let's see this proof. Proof that Luke Atme was at KB Security that night. I'm wanting to say it's the sword because the whole thing at the warehouse getting struck on the head was that had to have been a lie, but the sword still got bent. And I don't think he was hit in the back of the head. He hit Ron in the back of the head or in the front of the head. And that's why he messed up his testimony on the first day. He said he got hit on the forehead. No, you didn't get hit on the forehead. You hit someone on the forehead. That's what I think I'm going to present. Because I don't know what else it could have been. You also apparently knocked out the CEO with it too. We're going to go with that as well. Yeah, I don't think it can be anything else. This is the proof. It's true. That is very important. However, I'm not so foolish to think that will pass for evidence here. What? Mr. Trite, it's time you learned the true flavor of life. The flavor of my special Godot blend number 49. Well, Mr. Wright, it's bitter. Very bitter. Oh! What? What do I do? If I make a mistake here, it's over. If I can't prove it, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? What else do I have that... Also, if Ron used his card, how did Atney get in there too? Unless the CEO let him in. I don't... What if I say we... Did I save? I'm gonna save again. I'm just gonna say we can't prove it then. Because what else do I have? I can't prove it. Just as I thought. That's probably not the right answer. But if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony... Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean. What is going on outside? What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as mask to mask. No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as mask to mask. My verdict will verify that, just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Well, order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is. Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more. No, we don't. We do not have tomorrow. By then, it'll be too late. Why? We do not have tomorrow. Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Oh, so we're following court of law now. Is that what we're doing? We want to talk about double jeopardy? Yep, should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. That is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atmey will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as mask to mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. No way. The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. Nuts in your mouth. You are. That's how I would imagine Phoenix would say that. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent. Mia, if you're gonna show up, we need you now. The real killer, Luke Atmey, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today, and as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Am I getting, like, the bad ending? Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey. Is that Von Karma? That's Von Karma. I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you? Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Who is this? That voice, no way. Oh, it's Mia. I thought that was Von Karma. I got I was like, no. Long time no see, Phoenix. And the boobs are out. We love it. Mia. This is the true power of the Korean channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now let's do this. But there's nothing more than we can do. It is Mia, yeah. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... So Maya can't always channel through the Mia. Pearl, on the other hand, at least from what we've seen, Pearl has a stronger channeling technique. She's able, like, she was with us this one court case. She was Mia the entire time because she knew what to do. She understood the assignment, but Maya struggles sometimes. So what I'm saying is I wish Pearl were here instead, I guess. I don't know. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Like, Maya only seems to be able to contact Mia when it's, like, super, super dire. This witness made a number of remarks. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I can wait for the ad to finish. I hate, it's supposed to give me a heads up in OBS, and it doesn't unless I'm able to snooze it, and that does get on my nerves. So we can let the ad finish. I can riff for a minute. I will say, I'm going to be a little bit upset. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be a little upset if it turns out that that sword is what turns out to be the proof. Because I did fucking prove it. Because how have we not gone back to that yet? Because it clearly didn't happen at the warehouse. He brought it with him most likely to the security place and then brought it back because... You know, it'd be suspicious if it was missing, you know, but it was bent. That's just my theory. Are the ads done? We can wait for the ads to finish. But we'll see. There we go. Okay, we should be back. Seems that love wins out in the end after all. I'm the ace detective as well as mask to mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. I mean, I personally get mad when my ads play at, like, peak times of the games. Not just this game, it does get on my nerves. So I'm like, I chit-chatted for a bit. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? I'm thinking what I should do. Because I still don't fully understand how the ads work. I can snooze up to 3 ads, but what I've found is if I don't snooze them when it gives me the option to at the very beginning, it doesn't let me snooze them later. But allegedly, if the chat's like super active, it says it will auto snooze ads during moments of, I forget how Twitch words it, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. So maybe I shouldn't snooze them in the beginning like I have been. Also, welcome in, Jabels. I'm sorry I missed your message. But welcome in. Yes, Mia is mommy. Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, Luke, let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you... Very well then, Mr. Luke Atme, I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron DeLay. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. This is a long-ass testimony. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. You don't mistake blue for red unless you're colorblind. Zavari. Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. That is a long testimony. Holy crap. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The witness's early remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer. Interesting. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone Luke's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec. Just one chance? Oh. It seems that the party's about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. So she's telling me that it's not evidence, it's pressing. Oh, although I don't know now. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. Is the fatal part a hint there? And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Okay, let's save. Let's save. Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination. Okay. It is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I think we can admit that that's not... that's not false. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron DeLay. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it. Which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. In the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. All the evidence points to that. So there's one thing in here we have to press. How could you mistake the color of the jewel when a picture of it's right there? This is like my first like theory. Not really a theory, but the first thing I'm wanting to do. But is there anything that we haven't presented yet? We've pretty much presented everything. At this, like, up to this point. This just seems almost too easy, though, if this is the case. Although we're not presenting with evidence. That's right. So that's the. Ugh. This is upsetting. I'm gonna press this, but I'm gonna save first. Mr. Atme, about this last remark. You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. Really? There's still one thing you haven't proven. That this scum was in Kane Bullard's office that night. And now it's time for me to drink my last cup. Yeah, okay. Fucking send me to prison. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. Okay. Alright, can I just reload my save, please? So we have to prove, so they gave us a hint. Not the underling Adam apple. Okay. So they gave us a hint there. It's something that's proving that he was in the office with Bullard. But what would we have here? But you also have gloves on, which is why you wouldn't leave prints. So there's that. But I don't know that that's like a fatal flaw. And then there's this. Because you are also, well, not also, you are the killer and you wear gloves. But which one am I pressing here? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Really? So it's gonna make me go through this again? Let me just reload my save. I swear to God, if it's the statement before then, it's like it's this. He's saying the same thing but twice. Guy Fieri's hot, cousin. Are you saying Guy Fieri isn't hot? To what end? Let's see. Nope. Okay. And they said we are not presenting evidence. We have to press something. I almost want to look it up just to get through it, but I'm like so stubborn. But eventually I'm just gonna press every statement and we're gonna find whatever one they want us to present. Like it's not, we know it's not this one. We know it's not this one. Oh wait. Ooh, we know it's not that one. We know it's, yeah. All the evidence points to that poor boy. Well, here's the thing, not all the evidence. And that's the thing, like, are we nitpicking here? Because all the evidence, this is evidence. How does that point to him? This just shows that you could have been in both places. I'm just gonna press it, because I don't care anymore.
Objection.
This is almost embarrassing at this point. Watch it be the last statement that I press. That's how bad I am at these games. This is like my main critique with this game, is it's like you're meant to find a needle in a haystack sometimes. I can't remember. I mean, it was only earlier tonight. Ron mentioned his wallet falling out. But was it because of their scuffle? No. It's gonna be the last one. It's gonna be the last one. Yeah, literally, because he's getting off scot-free, the killer's escaping. The killer being Luke at me. What a perfect... I mean, there's this, like, what vitally important job request?
Objection.
But we're not allowed to ask about it. It's literally gonna be the last fucking thing. Unbelievable. I will say, this has not been my favorite case. Of all the ones I've done so far, this one has kind of pissed me off. How many are left? There's this one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although you were at Lordly Taylor, just not at that night. I'm just gonna press it. I don't care.
Objection.
So done. Well, no. Mia said not presenting evidence. It's a statement we have to press, and there's only one correct answer. Unless I read it wrong, but I'm almost positive. It's none of these. But I just find it weird we never went back to the sword.
Objection.
I'm just gonna hold it. I've literally pressed like every fucking statement. I'm actually annoyed with this. No. Did I not press wearing his mask to mask outfit, which is why he left no prints? I could have sworn I did that one already. And this guide is saying that's the one. I would be in debt right now. Or actually, I am in debt, actually. But I would be in debt because of this, too. I could have sworn I selected in his outfit. I thought I pressed this statement, did I not?
Objection.
This guide's lying to me. This guide's lying to me. Oh, never mind. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's... Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I get it now, but, like, I would never... Ugh. How would he know that he was in his costume unless he was there? We didn't tell him that. These clues always mess me up, where we have information on something, but I forget that some of the other people don't. Or that they think that we don't know that information, you know? Because if he wasn't there, he wouldn't have known that because we didn't tell him. Oh, I'm so fucking stupid. And it's like, but I could have sworn I pressed this one. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atney? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. Is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as mask to mask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was, it was just a few hours ago, back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I don't feel good about this case. I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atney? Please call him Detective. There was no way that you should have known about that. Ah. You were in the next courtroom being tried as mask to mask. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information? Well... Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out. Only one way, you say. Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atney. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Detective Atney, you saw Mask to Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Is he causing an earthquake? Like, what? Alright. That's enough. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. Yeah, just a little bit. What an awfully complicated incident. Yeah. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atney, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atney tried to frame Ron Delight. Also, thank you for the hydrate waffle. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask to Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with his plan. To use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man, besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict, I know, you never committed any murder. That's right, I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Mask to Mask. Huh? So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? Who invited the twink? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, I've been careless. What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute, as the defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then Mask to Mask is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty. Oh, thank God. I am over this case. This case overstayed its welcome. Boy, this is really lucky. Waiter, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Mask to Mask after all. You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Korean channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Ah, Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this has happened. Come on, just be happy already. Maya. You've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Mask to Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Mask to Mask? I did it all for one reason, for her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became mask to mask. Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? We put the urn back together. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can. I kind of wish you would check with me first. Yeah, literally, the urn. Even if a bowl is broken, there is always a way to put it back together. She loves doing sword and everything. The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Ah, there you are. Ms. Delight. You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really mask to mask either. Mr. Light, what are you going to do now that you know? Literally, your house is filled with his stuff. How would you not know that? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes. I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red. Oh, it's Pearl, Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations. Talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife in front of Mystic Maya? No, you got it all wrong. I'll never forgive you. Pearl. So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together, but I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. I mean, they should try to get rid of the paint splotches on it, in my opinion. If it's so sacred. That's my opinion. Ooh, okay. So we're gonna start this on Thursday with Maya. Recipe for turnabout. Interesting. Why is Maya in a maid outfit? Exactly. We'll have to find out Thursday. This is gonna be cooking shenanigans, apparently. That'll be interesting. Oh, not to be right back. Oh. Please, I forgot how to stream. Okay, and I have to manually move my model because I gotta fix my hotkeys, which I should hopefully be able to do tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for stopping by, guys. This actually, I thought I was gonna finish this case like an hour ago and be like, well, it was a shorter stream, guys. It was only ended up being semi-short. Also, perfect timing because looks like there's some heavy thunderstorms right now. Thank you, Sever. It was still fun. I remember loving the characters in this upcoming one. Well, I'll hold you to it. Because I will admit, this one was not my favorite case. It was too much. I think, like, the idea of a twist of being like, oh, it's not about murder, but actually, just kidding, it is. Like, I thought that was kind of cool at first, and then it just really dragged on. And our defendant was so whiny and annoying. I'm sorry. But I still enjoyed it. But I'm excited to move on to the next one, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, let's go find someone to raid. Who can we raid that is on right now? I'm loving this music though. I'm kind of annoyed because I like I said I uploaded my first stream of this. Well, first stream of the third game on YouTube, and it fucking copyright struck me because of the allegedly copyright free music on Spotify for streaming. But then it said like, oh well, this user allows their music to be played. It's like, okay, then why are you putting copyright on it? Just a little bit of a gripe. But yeah, so if those for those of you that don't know, I put a new schedule in the Discord. If you want to go check it out. I'm going to be continuing this on Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday I'm going to be doing Breath of the Wild. And it's going to be starting earlier, around 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to try out like a slightly different schedule and see how it works. So like I'll play one game Tuesdays and Thursdays and another game Saturdays and Sundays. I want to try to stick to that. So that is my plan. But here is our raid message. Let's see if we can go find someone to raid. I do see. Oh, JC is streaming some art. They are another VTuber, although they're gonna be right back screen. How long have they been in a be right back screen? I hate raiding. I feel like rude raiding into someone who's like stepped away from their PC. We can raid Trashly. Oh, they're not Trashly tonight. They're Jake Fortnite. That seems like a safe bet. And then I will see you guys Thursday. I try to raid smaller streamers when I can. But there's not a lot on right now that we haven't raided in a while, but that's okay. We'll raid Trashly, and then we'll come up with other people to raid throughout the rest of the week. But I will see you guys Thursday. Have a good night. I'm just gonna raid out, guys. Bye.
Now that we've finished escaping, we found our way out. So. Oh, you're playing the Right Ace Attorney trilogy. Love, love, love. I'm Jack Trashley, but tonight I'm Jake Fortnite. Here because a garbage can entertain you. We've been just playing DBD. Just chilling, doing some surviving. You know, one day I'll be good at Survivor, and that's my goal for 2024. Where are you going? In case you finish without me blowing my bike out. What type of game is it? I thought it was more like a narrative game. Are you making decisions on the cases? Maybe I should play it. The visual novel, but you make decisions as a child. That is very interesting. Brexton's been running her for ages. We're doing okay. I was worried because we couldn't stay on a gen. He's actually picking. Damn it. Tried to save a little progress on that Jed. Well, I found another one. Generator, that is.